All right, in today's world of digital chaos and just so much misinformation, journalists need every tool they can get. But what if I told you their new secret weapon isn't some shady meeting in a parking garage? Nope. It's about finding the truth that's hidden in plain sight, right from your keyboard. So let's dive into the fascinating world of open source intelligence, or as you'll hear us call it, OSINT. Now, that quote you're seeing, that's not some hyperbole. It's a real assessment of an organization called Bellingcat. And what they do is, well, they've become what you might call Russia's biggest nightmare. And how? By using publicly available data to expose secrets and hold some seriously powerful people accountable. It just goes to show you, the stakes here are incredibly high. So this really is journalism's new frontier. But what does that actually mean? Well, think about it like this. We're all drinking from a fire hose of online information every single day. This is about turning that chaos into a precision tool, a way to find the truth, especially when you can't just, hop on a plane and go there yourself. Okay, so let's get a formal definition down. OSINT stands for Open Source Intelligence, and the most important words there are open source or publicly available. Let's be super clear, this is not hacking. It's not about breaking into anything. It's really an art form. It's about finding, verifying, and then connecting all those little digital breadcrumbs we all leave online. And this is a game changer, right? Because it means intelligence isn't just for governments anymore. It's something any journalist with a laptop and the right know-how can do.
And look, the proof is in the pudding. We're talking about major, world-changing stories. Identifying the actual suspects in the Skripal poisoning, pinpointing exactly who was involved in the downing of flight MH17, verifying chemical attacks in Syria. These aren't small things. OSN gives journalists a way to build an absolutely airtight case with verifiable proof, even when governments are screaming, "It wasn't us."
All right, so you're probably wondering, how do they actually do all this? Well, it's not magic, but it does feel like it sometimes. It's all about having the right digital detectives toolkit. And we're going to start with the tool you use every single day, the search engine.
Yeah, we all think we know how to use a search bar, right? But trust me, most of us are just scratching the surface. If you know the right commands, these little tricks, you can turn that simple search box into a crazy powerful investigative tool. And yeah, it's got a funny name. They call it Google Dorking.
So, the secret sauce here is using what are called operators to just cut through all the noise online. For example, the site dash operator lets you search only one specific website. Super useful. Then you've got file type, which is amazing for hunting down, say, a specific PDF or even a leaked spreadsheet. And in URL lets you look for words inside the actual web address, which is a neat trick for finding things like hidden login pages. Each one of these just narrows your search from a million results down to maybe just a few, the ones that actually matter. And this is where the real magic happens, when you start stringing them together. Look at this query. You're telling Google, okay, I want you to find any PDF document, that's the file type part, on this specific company's website, that's the site part, and it has to have the word confidential in it. But then, here's the clever bit. You use a minus sign to say, but I don't want any results that have the word public in the URL. See what you're doing there? This is literally how you can find documents that somebody probably didn't mean for you to see. Okay, so search engines are one thing, but what about a photo or a video clip that's going viral? I mean, that can be powerful evidence, but how do you know it's real? How do you know where and when it was actually taken? Well, that's where our next critical skill comes in, geolocation. Seriously, in a world flooded with deepfakes and doctored images, geolocation is probably a journalist's single best defense against misinformation. When you literally can't send a reporter into a war zone or to the site of a natural disaster, this is how you can still verify what's happening. You can take a photo or video someone else posted and figure out, is this real? It lets you report the facts with confidence even from thousands of miles away. And this isn't just guesswork. It's a really systematic process. First, you try to pull out any metadata. That's the hidden data, like GPS coordinates, that might be embedded right in the file. Then you become a detective, looking for clues in the image itself. Things like street signs, unique buildings, maybe even the position of the sun. You take those clues and you cross-reference them with things like Google Maps or satellite images. You're basically piecing together a digital puzzle, and you don't stop until you can say with absolute certainty, yep, this happened exactly here at this time. And the real-world applications for this are just staggering. We're talking about emergency responders using it to coordinate rescue efforts after a hurricane, or helping law enforcement find a missing person, or, on a global scale, tracking protest movements, and verifying exactly what's happening in a conflict zone. This isn't just an academic exercise. This is a technique that literally saves lives and brings truths to light that would otherwise just stay buried.
Okay, so all of this sounds incredibly powerful, right? But with great power comes, you know the rest. There are some serious rules of the road here. Just because something is publicly available doesn't mean it's a total free-for-all. So we absolutely have to talk about the law and the ethics of all this.
And let me be really clear on this point. This stuff is completely non-negotiable. Following the law and sticking to strict ethical guidelines isn't just a suggestion, it's essential. If you don't, you lose all your integrity, all your credibility. Frankly, the whole thing just falls apart without a solid ethical backbone.
So where is that line you can't cross? A big Supreme Court case, Van Buren versus United States, really helps clarify it. The best way to think about it is like this. Let's say you have a key to your office. You're allowed to be there. But that key doesn't give you the right to go rifling through your boss's confidential files. The law is about exceeding your authorized access. It's not about why you're looking, it's about where you're looking. For a journalist, this boils down to something simple. You gotta respect a website's terms of service. It's a subtle but absolutely crucial distinction.
Okay, let's zoom out for a second and look at the big picture. Because this whole field didn't just pop up overnight. And trust me, where it's going next is going to affect every single one of us. You know, it's really easy to think of OSINT as this brand new internet thing, but its roots go way, way back. We're talking all the way to the 1940s, when intelligence agencies were basically just listening to foreign radio broadcasts. It was even a huge deal during the Cuban Missile Crisis. But then, the internet happened, and groups like Bellingcat came along and just put the whole thing on steroids, transforming it from this secret government tool into a powerful global movement for everyday people.
And yeah, this is now big, big business. Just look at that number. The OSINT market is expected to be worth more than $7 billion by 2031. So let's be clear, this isn't just some niche hobby for people in their basements anymore. This is a highly professional, fast-growing industry that's becoming absolutely essential for national security, for finance, and of course, for journalism. But what happens next? Well, the future of OSINT is kind of at a fork in the road. There are two ways this could go. On the one hand, the positive scenario. Tools get even better, they get supercharged with AI, and they become more accessible for everyone, empowering more journalists and citizen investigators. But there's a flip side. The negative scenario is that the whole field gets fragmented, it gets way too commercialized, and all these amazing tools get locked behind expensive paywalls. And that would just put all this power back into the hands of a select few. And that really brings us to the final and maybe the most important question. In an age where it feels like truth itself is constantly under attack, where the internet feels more like a battlefield than a library, could OSINT be the best defense that journalism has? Could these rigorous, verifiable methods be our best hope for sorting fact from fiction? I'll leave you with that to think about.